Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. This video is very important. Please comment, like the video, subscribe, share the video, what have you. So, first of all, I want you to understand that the word slaughter is an anagram, for the word laughters. In other words, it's the word laughters scrambled. The word massacre, again, another play on words, mass, acre, has implications on, the mass of the population, okay, on, body types, physics and physique. It has implications on the housing market and on, colonialism, conquest, and other despicable ideas. Also, the word massacre, and this one's very key here, is ass maker scrambled with a C instead of a K. It's also ass came R, the letter R, who you are and who gets, the ass, and has implications on LGBT agendas throughout history, right? The real purpose of secret society is the reason why English people and other colonists wore wigs, and how it connects to the moon, and the moon being a symbol of the feminine. It's a long story why that is. If you do your research, it's kind of interesting there. Also, Ra's came. Ra as a word that was assigned for the sun symbol of God in the Egyptian mythology, and Ra also meaning evil in Hebrew. And the Bible says, woe to you who call good evil and evil good, as the prophets were chastising the Jews for doing that. Okay, and their hypocrisy that Christ went on and on about, Mark 7, Matthew 23, what have you. So let me read you something I wrote here that's very important here. Okay. The word slut is less scrambled, right? Harass, Har Ass, Harass, right? But it's very foolish to try to be a rich person with some fair weather chick. That is not a good pursuit in life. Trust me, I've done a lot of research, a lot of thinking, a lot of analysis. It's the top martial artist ever asked me about my legal and peaceful top martial arts challenge. $10 million if you can win, pay nothing if you lose, $50 just to show up. An outdoor sparring challenge. Spar at Spirit. It shows timing, prioritization, the lead hand in sparring, who's qualified to be a leader when done correctly. After my flesh dies, it will never be done correctly again due to tech, cheating, breeding, and generational ill-gotten gains. Okay, so the rich as a group massacre and torture the poor by refusing to pay wealth taxes to a cost-effective process that would end homelessness, build affordable homes in affordable places, build rehabs, bring in a massive food program, hire more police officers with a logical imperative, and restructure the school system with from school to work programs for children that have trouble learning the traditional way, that need a better and more interesting curriculum with the extra nonsense removed, and the guarantees that when they go the course that there'll be a job that makes sense to them, that doesn't seem so miserable, that they can do, waiting for them. Believe it or not, only 1/10 of the present wealth of the wealthy, which would be taxed over 30 years, would be needed. Vice taxes for everyone for the purpose of building rehabs would also be helpful. You see that it's very clear to me that by fueling a system that sexually exploits people, especially the poor, while playing stupid games instead of solving problems, that the rich have caused 50,000 suicides last year, I believe it was, and 70,000 fentanyl overdoses in just 1 year, according to the mainstream news, mind you, that they control. Keep in mind that this is just the tip of the iceberg. The right wing likes to pretend that tax cuts for the wealthy magically help the poor more than funding the most logical startups, building cost-effective tiny homes, food programs, and rehabs, but they don't. You think about the smartest kids that graduate from school. Quite often people think in terms of Asian kids, right? The smartest Asian kids, the smartest kids of every race who don't know what they're going to do. Some have startups, the most logical startups with the experts analyzing. Keep in mind there's a certain potential for nepotism and the abuse of power in regards to who gets funded and who doesn't. And there should be measures taken to ensure that it's fair, with polls in regards to how fair they think it is, and the information made public. Okay. There has never been a period in the history of the rich avoiding taxes or paying less taxes that resulted in a massive increase in the quality of living for the poor as the result of those activities. Right? People cite Reaganomics, catastrophic failure. Reaganomics was a mistake. The rich used to pay 70% at the top level. Then they lowered it to 28%, and they lowered it more, and now a lot of rich people avoid paying taxes. We see examples of right-wingers citing Reaganomics, and they sought to give the philosophy of trickle-down economics credit for the IT boom. See, Reagan, when he started doing his Reaganomics around 1981, around the time I was born, okay, I'm 43 years old, he started giving tax breaks to the rich. But there's more than one way the IT sector and other sectors could have gotten their money. They could have gotten it from bank loans. There's a lot of ways they could have gotten it. They could have gotten it from zero-interest government loans, what have you, instead of tax breaks. Okay, Reagan even cut food stamps. From what I've come across from my research, what I've come across is one person claiming that he cut food stamps, and I'm pretty sure that he did. Reagan added almost $3 trillion to the national debt and was instrumental in the creating of the trend of adding lots of money to the debt with few tangible and logical results. Had they done it my way back then and before that, we wouldn't have this massive debt. We'd have a lot less people on welfare, okay? And there'd be a lot more opportunity for poor people, especially those who are college graduates. The war machine, a lack of cost-effective programs for the poor, purposely losing the war on drugs, corporate enforced sexual control, people who are purposely lying about God, psychological operations like the massive COINTELPRO program and other factors led to the massive over $33 trillion in debt that we have today. Okay, so it's well over $33 trillion if you think about it and do the research. All this while homelessness is at a whopping 700,000. And that includes around 100,000 children that are on the streets. The rich as a group refuse to effectively manage the immigration problem by creating regions for them and taxing them at a slightly higher rate, while making sure that they have more affordable housing than we have because they build new tiny homes and small homes for them. And they, $300 to $500 a month should be, price tag should be sufficient while taxing them at a slightly higher rate. The existing immigration system is an abomination, where people have to wait countless months, right? 2 years, right? For an answer. And they turn to illegal cartels that rape and abuse them as a result. And you see the right wing has the nerve, and again, I'm not a Democrat, okay? But the right wing has the nerve to argue that the immigration policy of the left has caused these people to get raped and abused on the way here and children being trafficked. It has everything to do with right-wing policies first and foremost. Okay, the right wing refuses to present a logical region argument for the immigrants. They say just go straight to deport, which is instrumental in creating the dynamic that we see today that allows for the cartels to exploit the process. The left wing at least says let them come here, and it's only when it clashes with the right wing and the corrupt, managerial class, the corrupt kleptocratic rich class, what have you, the various factors of the process, the various corrupt people involved in the process, and there's many of them, that we see a failed process. But the right wing's refusal to allow immigrants to come here in a logical and timely fashion in the first place, a major problem we see in this trickle-down economic system. And we see that it is actually the economic system of a totalitarian system, a behind-the-scenes feudal system, an authoritarian system. And what is more important than the failure of the system is who I am and how they're making it harder for me to explain myself. I am the son of God. I'm the top martial artist ever possible. Martial is marital scrambled, and Christ is the bridegroom. You see that the word hits is scrambled into the word Christ. So it should be my call and not the governing class in regards to what kind of economic system any nation in the world has, especially America. Especially when they won't debate me publicly and they're violating my constitutional rights. So there should be a lawsuit, okay, which makes it clear that the people would have voted for me if they did not suppress my videos. So as a consequence of them persecuting me illegally as a system, they prevented the rise of God's Son in a political sense. And that came with a stiff price tag for the poor and for me personally. And obviously, my life is much greater than all the governing classes' lives put together. Even if they had 1,000 lives each, what are they? They're mere parasites with money. Righteousness is greater than wealth. How many of you would trade a small bag of gold worth thousands of dollars for a big bag of dirt? I am the gold. They are the dirt. Even if I was to die right now, my life in its sum total form is infinitely greater than all of their lives put together. And they've acknowledged this by persecuting me. Why couldn't they simply beat me at a debate when they put their heads together? Why did they have to suppress my videos? Because God knows. And I know that I am superior to the governing class. And my model for society is far greater than theirs. And they do not have the heart to rally to me, but they're quick to exploit the masses. The exploitation also includes the sexual exploitation of the masses. Look at the word horror. It's a play on words for whore or. Why is that? Why is that the argument being made by the wordplay, like meal, melee, food, faux do, grub, G-rub? Why are these arguments being made? Look at the governing class. Bunch of psychopaths, narcissists, weird, nerdy people, obviously sexually immoral people. Why are people following them if the state is not terrorizing them? The state has spent every day for years now trying to coerce me, trying to terrorize me, trying to force me to do things that I don't want to do. That's why the police force is called that, the force. Sex by force, rape. They call it having their way with her. What is their way? It's referring to the psychology of the way, the essence of their way, the energy of their way. Sexploitation is at an all-time high. Sextortion, you name it. Human trafficking. It is a massive rape by deception system. A system of rape by deception. And they think that if they make it harder for me to speak, that they somehow get something. While kids are crying and bleeding, getting beat up and raped, women are getting beaten and raped all over the place all the time. They're snickering. And they think that if they make it harder for me to explain these things, that they get something. Look at the suicide rate in the military. Look at the rape rates in the military. The word racist is like the word rapist. The word precision is like the word decision for a reason. You have to be precisely right or you're throwing them under the bus. If you're arguing for something that isn't precisely right, you're arguing to throw a lot of people under the bus. So you have to be precise to the best of your ability. That's my religion. Universal pinpointing moral precision. I live what I talk. I'm not in some social club or some mystery school. I live in reality. And I define myself as a righteous person in reality. Anyone who doesn't live in reality, anyone who plays a game, or puts on a front, or plays a role instead of really live with what righteousness would have them live, is a waste of life, a disgusting person. You have to wonder about the quality of their genes.